With Activision recently shutting down a bunch of old clients and fan projects, I wanted to talk about this topic because it sucks to see what happened to the industry. I'm going to be talking about multiplayer games in general, but focus on Call of Duty. But these clients that Activision shut down basically help preserve a bunch of older COD games. Without these clients, you can't play older titles like Black Ops 3 on PC without the risk of getting hacked, booted, or anything like that. No one can play these games safely anymore, and Activision doesn't even do shit to preserve these games on their end either. This is straight up some Nintendo-ass move, and Activision is acting like a kid on a tantrum after finding out they can't get a Happy Meal at McDonald's because there's food at home. Like, these motherfuckers really think that the people that are choosing to play older Call of Duty titles would want to play the newer Call of Duties. Like, no. Most of these people are playing these older games because they're straight up better than the newer ones. Every game nowadays, even single player ones, but I'll talk about that in a future video, shits out an unfinished, unplayable game with very little content, and these companies expect people to buy their games and just wait for the update that fixes the game or adds more content, when that should never be the case. Games should be finished, playable, and complete from the very beginning. There can be room for extra content, but you shouldn't rely on post-launch content to make up for the shitty game that was released on launch. And on the other hand, the game can also be really good, but the lack of content on launch can also deal a shit ton of damage. Halo Infinite is a perfect example of this. Everyone loved the multiplayer when the game first released, but after they kept delaying and cancelling updates, people gave up. These games keep failing to deliver promises. Halo ended up cancelling their split screen update, Call of Duty wasn't able to add a leaderboard to one of their games, and Overwatch 2 cancelled their PvE mode. Back in the day, games would be complete on launch, unbroken, and they would release updates and deliver promises and make everyone happy. Nowadays, buying an online game is basically you going all in at the casino, with you most likely regretting spending the money you put down. But another issue that I want to talk about is keeping up with the standards. Before 2017, games could get away with a couple of updates. Call of Duty used to have 4 map packs with 4 multiplayer maps and a zombies map released through the span of a year. And they slowly added more content through the years with things such as guns, camos, and skins. But once it was 2018, Fortnite started popping, and every other game saw how popular Fortnite was, and then started putting out their own battle royale, their own battle pass, and their own constant seasonal updates. So if a game didn't have constant updates and couldn't keep up with the industry, it was more than likely gonna die. This is one of the reasons why new up-and-coming games from smaller studios like Splitgate had no chance to survive. But another huge factor that these big studios don't realize is that it isn't quarantine anymore. People were off school, off work, and there was a lot of time to play video games, which made the season-based updates viable because you had time to play the game. And because of this, people enjoyed the constant updates and new features because they had time to consume the product to eventually want more. But now that quarantine's done, people have more time to go out and do other things after work or school, and video games are no longer a huge part of their day. But these publishers are still pushing out updates as if people are still playing the game 24/7, when in reality, people don't have as much time. Instead of making constant mediocre ass updates, it'd make more sense to make more quality updates and have post-launch support similar to how it was before the days of Fortnite, with memorable marketing and promotions. Like, remember how during the Black Ops 3 era, everyone used to get so hyped not for a trailer, but for the poster that leaked? Nowadays, a new map would be out, and people barely talk about it. And this also brings me to my next point, and that's the studio not being able to give a shit about their games. Before we get on to the next part, make sure to subscribe to the channel cause there's no shot you'd be able to make it past the menu in the new Gollum game if you don't join the 5% of people that are subscribed. But let's continue. Remember back in 2013 when the map packs were releasing for Black Ops 2, the devs would make a video going over the maps and everyone would get hyped for it? Or when in Black Ops 3, the director of Zombies, Jason Blundell, would go to JC Backfire's college dorm to announce Zombies Chronicles, a DLC pack that everyone was asking for. They actually listened to what the fans wanted, and they made it more community based. Everything they did brought the community together, and it felt great to talk about it with your friends and watch videos about it, but now, no one gives a shit. They announced Outbreak for MW3, but not a single soul gives a fuck, because it isn't what the zombies community wants. It's what casual players want, which brings me to the next issue. And that's making the game cater to everyone. Wanna know why From Software games continue to be loved? Cause the games aren't meant for everyone. Back when Elden Ring came out, there was a meme talking about how the game would look if Ubisoft made it. But it isn't like that, cause From Software actually gives a shit and understands that they have their own fanbase that enjoys the game and that their game isn't meant for everyone. Call of Duty on the other hand, doesn't. Zombies back in the day was a lot like From Software games, in the sense that there was no handholding and there were a lot of questions that were answered with secrets and Easter eggs which made the community come together. But now they straight up have a minimap, objective list, loadouts, operators, ammo crates, item descriptions, and so much more. This meme for Elden Ring is what happened to Call of Duty, which ended up attracting a whole lot more casual fans, while killing off the original fans that were there from the beginning. Like, how do you go from actual characters to generic ass operators for zombies? There is no way that this isn't about the casuals, cause it's what makes them more money. Older fans actually cared about the story, atmosphere, and everything, and with operators bringing no soul to the game, the fans that played the mode from the older games don't get the same experience anymore. And the casuals that buy operators, camos, whatever from the shop can now use it in zombies and grind there as well. Now, changes are a good thing, but wanting to dumb down your game to have everyone play it ruins the experience for everyone that grew with the series. And another way they're killing off fans is by introducing skill-based matchmaking. Before you can play a game and do well and get abused on occasion, well, nowadays you have to be sweating your ass off and have the willpower of Naruto to keep playing the game. And to further cater to new players, they do everything they can by dropping a new skin every hour to get in as many microtransaction sales as possible. And they don't even give a shit about this either, cause look at this motherfucker. How does this look like Levi? And this brings me to the next point, and that's the microtransactions. I would honestly rather have supply drops from Black Ops 3 than these lazy ass cosmetics that took 5 minutes to make and constant saturated updates. BO3 had this cool ass disc ricocheting weapon that you never see in any other game, while in the newer CODs, you see another SMG or assault rifle that looks different and has different stats applied to it. They also had cool ass camos like this shit that you don't see in newer games, cause they just spit out whatever to make some quick short-term revenue. Before, microtransactions would be an afterthought, but now it's slapped in every game to milk every last dollar from the players. Now, this was a problem in Black Ops 3 as well, but the thing with Black Ops 3 is that it seemed like they actually put some thought into what they put out and actually cared about the unique weapons and cosmetics. It's even worse in sports games, cause for that you either work full-time to pay to upgrade your player, or you play full-time to upgrade your player. But the number of microtransactions should not be this prominent, and more time and effort should be put into making quality updates. And microtransactions are fine, they just shouldn't be a priority, and some thought and care should be put into them. Recently, there were more sales for Black Ops 3 than MW2, which says a lot about how much more impactful these older games were. People are spending so much time and effort on making custom maps and mods, while also allowing the game to be safe to play, and the community is back supporting a 2015 game rather than a brand new one because of all the reasons I mentioned. And to see Activision shut down these clients really shows you that they genuinely don't care about the game and its community, and it really is about profits. And they don't even realize that this doesn't mean more people are gonna buy MW2, cause if they really wanted to, they would have already been playing it. And they aren't gonna fix the issues in their older games either, so it's like, what is the point? And I get that they're a publicly traded company and they need to make money to satisfy investors, but slapping the fanbase with your own discharge isn't the way to do it. Now, everything I said would probably apply to a bunch of games, but I mainly focused on Call of Duty, cause that's the main multiplayer game I played. There are probably some exceptions, but I just don't play multiplayer games anymore, so I wouldn't know. But I would say the one game that seems to still be going strong is Fortnite. From the little I've played recently, it seems like they actually care about the game and their collaborations. I played during the Attack on Titan update, and it was pretty fun grappling with the ODM gear and shit. And they actually put the effort to make not just the skins look good, but the mechanics of the ODM gear and Thunder Spears play well. So I do think that there are some games that still continue to go strong. I will talk about more issues in a future video focusing on single player games, but in the meantime, make sure to subscribe and check these videos out. Later.